Hello and welcome to another edition of Mama's Gone Wild. I'm Nikki Woods.
I'm Mary Boyce, and today we are talking to Lesley Batson. And Lesley, hi Lesley, and I'm excited to talk to her because she's doing something really unique. She has a website for chicks who love sports.
For chicks who love sports. Got it.
Yeah, and that would be you.
That would be me, yes.
And so tell us how that came about, Lesley. Have you always been into sports, and what made you decide to do this?
Well, yes, I have always been into sports. I actually started playing soccer when I was 8 years old. I have a twin brother, and I think my parents were kind of sick of our energy. So they put us into sports when we were really young. So I started playing soccer, and after my first year, I started playing a competitive league at age 9, and we traveled all over the place. And through high school, I played all different sports. I ended up going to school on a track scholarship. So I've actually played sports my whole life, and actually moved to Chicago after school. So I'm a huge Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls, all the Chicago teams fan.
Yay, Chicago!
I don't know, woohoo! Yeah. So actually, how Fanatics came about was that I had I took on some work for a client here in Florida. And so I was away from Chicago, but it was actually the same year that the Bears made it to the Super Bowl against the Colts in 2007 in Miami. And I thought, I can't be this close to my Bears in the Super Bowl and not go. So I just hopped on a plane. I went down there, stayed in this really crappy hotel on South Beach because it's all that was left.
As I said, but it's South Beach. It doesn't matter.
Know, right?
It doesn't matter.
So I went down there by myself, and just, as I was walking around, of course I didn't have a ticket to the game or anything like that, but as I was walking around on South Beach, I saw that I wasn't the only girl there. Obviously most girls were there with their husbands, boyfriends, whatever, but there were a lot of girls just like me who were just there because they just, were fans of the teams and football. And I just realized, wow, I'm not the only person, I'm not the only girl. There definitely it's a myth that girls don't like sports or women don't like or understand sports. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to build a community for us to find each other, especially for me being, say, a Chicago Bears fan living in Orlando, Florida. How do I find other Bears fans that are women and do things where we can get together and talk about the game, talk about our favorite players, and so on. So that's really where Fanatics came about. It's like Fanatics, but Fanatics for chicks who dig sports.
So are females or women fans different than male fans? Are there any real differences you've seen?
Yeah, well, so what I found is that, a lot of times when you see like a lot of the sports news, they spit out a whole lot of stats and numbers and, history and all kinds of things. But I think that, we women are really just into action of the game. Of course, I think we're interested in the history as well. It depends on kind of how passionate of a fanatic you are. But I think that what we kind of look at and talk about sometimes can be different, especially if you're, talking about sports with your girlfriends. So I just think that in a lot of cases, some girls might be the only one of their friends who are into sports, so they don't really have another girlfriend close by to talk to. Mm-hmm. So we just create a community where they can find other, women who are also fans of the same team, and they can get together and talk about it.
Yeah, and I mean, a little known history, a little known Nikki fact is that I actually, when I started out in broadcasting, I started out in sports television. And I think one of the most intimidating things is like how much knowledge guys have, like,
right.
The home run average of, somebody in 1938, and
right.
It's like, how do you do that? And right. I think you're right. I think that men tend to have a lot of knowledge, but I think that women have like the enthusiasm just for the sport.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you find that you have to give like kind of tutorials to your girlfriends, especially with football, because football is a lot more difficult to understand, and how they can talk the talk when they're hanging out with their friends?
Yeah, so we actually are launching an area on the site called the Chickipedia. So much like the Wikipedia, they'll be able to get kind of the 101 of different sports. Football would be one of the first ones. We actually are launching Fanatics Fantasy Football. So there's a lot of girls out there now who really want to get into fantasy football, or maybe they already play. But we want to create a program where they can, number one, learn about it, because a lot of people, it's not just women, but we're, obviously marketing to women. But a lot of girls want to learn how to play. They've seen their boyfriends and husbands playing it. They want to get involved as well. So we're going to create this program, and so the first Chickipedia will be for fantasy football.
That's awesome. So give us a website so people can find you.
Okay. It's fanatics.com, so like fanatics, but fanatics, FANATCHICKS.com. And you can follow us on Twitter, again, for Fanatics, and on Facebook, like our page. And like I said, if you're interested in fantasy football, learning about it, you can sign up for our Chickapedia. All that information is on our website.
Awesome. We thank you so much for joining us. And we thank you for joining us for another edition of Mama's Gone Wild. I'm Nikki Woods.
I'm Mary Boyce. Stay wild.
Thank you.